Welcome back. Now we would see how to integrate TestNG with Maven. So as I said, you have to watch TestNG section before watching this Maven section. Okay, so because in the previous section when I am talking about TestNG, I have explained the importance of generating TestNG XML file. So with that XML file you can actually control your test execution. Now in this folder, if there are 100 tests to execute, and if you want to execute only 40 which are most important, you can configure that in your TestNG XML file, and if you trigger that XML file, automatically those important 40 tests only will be triggered. So that's how we configure that XML file, by picking those 40 tests. Okay, so all these details I have clearly explained in my TestNG section in the video of TestNG XMLs. Okay, please watch that if you directly jump to Maven, because you will not understand the importance of this lecture if you don't watch the TestNG XML videos in the previous section. Okay, so assuming that you have watched that, now I want to create TestNG XML file here, and I'll pass these 3 test details there, so that if I trigger that XML file, automatically all these 3 tests will be executed from that XML file. Okay, that is step 1. Once we create that XML file, I want to trigger that TestNG XML file from Maven. So in the last lecture we have seen how to execute all test cases from test folder. This we saw with the help of command mvn test. So if you give this, it no matter what, it executes all the test cases from the test folder. Now, so in this lecture, my point of question is like, I want to execute only the XML file, because in this file I have written a lot of things to control all my test cases in the folder. So I am interested to run this file only. So that I want to trigger from Maven. Okay, so I don't want to trigger everything. I want to just trigger the XML file. So to do that, first you need to create the TestNG XML file for this project. So you can simply create that by right clicking TestNG, and you can say convert to TestNG. If you do that, the XML file will be automatically created for us. This is a default one, ready-made XML, which gives us, you can simply say next and finish. Okay, so now this TestNG XML have all the information about these 3 tests: Selenium test, REST API, and there's a lot more you can do with this XML file, right? We have seen that in the previous section. So I don't want to talk again to explaining this XML file. So my main intention is only to show you how to execute only this file from Maven. So if you right click and run this from Eclipse, all these 3 tests will run, because you have provided that information here. Okay, now run this from Maven. How do you do that? If you say mvn space test, obviously Maven will come again to this folder only, and it will execute these 3. But you want to execute this file which is present in the project level, not your test package files. So for that case, if you go back to your Maven documentation, okay, so just come back to Surefire plugin documentation. So if you come down, there is something called using TestNG. So these guys have provided excellent integration with the Maven, and they have also given a neat documentation for us to understand. So firstly, to use this TestNG, we need to get those dependencies. We have already did this in our previous lecture, right? So all these test cases are nothing but TestNG cases only. So that's what we have given in our pom.xml as well. Alright, so now we are all set that our Maven recognizes TestNG, but our intention is to provide that TestNG XML file, right? So come down, and here you go. So another alternate which we are talking now is to use TestNG suite XML file. So this allows flexible configuration of the test to be run. Note down this point. We talked in our previous section. The TestNG XML will help us to execute test based upon our configurations. We can control all our tests, right? So that's what even these guys are saying. So that's the reason they have provided a neat feature for us in Surefire plugin to execute that XML file. Yeah, if we come inside and check, earlier our pom.xml looks like this with our Maven Surefire plugin. This is our plugin information. Yeah, this is plugin. But inside the plugin of Surefire, there is one more tag called configuration, which you need to add, and you can pass all your XML files here, so that when you give mvn space test, so if you don't provide this configuration file, by default, by providing mvn space test, this will trigger all the tests from this folder. But if you specifically say that I want to execute XML file by giving this code, so that means suit XML file location, so Maven only executes this part. Okay, so in the last lecture what we have seen is that default plugin, okay, that runs and execute all. But if you want to tweak by running only the XML file, then copy this configuration carefully and place it here, the version. Yeah, so XML file, you need to pass the path. As this path is in your parent level, you can just pass that name here. Okay, so as we have given this information, and now if you go back and run mvn test, as I said, whatever Maven command you execute, first it come and read this pom.xml file. Based upon the instructions we provide in the pom.xml file only, it triggers. Now, so let me go back and say mvn space test and hit an enter. And we'll see the results, what comes here. Yeah, you see that. Okay, you might not see much difference because even this TestNG XML is executing all the test cases, right? Now, if you see the result, by changing this configuration, now our Maven did not blindly go and execute this. It just followed the instructions given in this file. But in this file, we are given instruction to execute all the test cases. So that's the reason you are not seeing the change in the number. Okay, let's tweak this to show the difference. Okay, first of all, I'll comment this. Okay, and in our actual TestNG, I'll skip this Appium part. Okay, I'm saving the file. As I skip that path, and now when I run mvn test, it should just follow blindly that XML and it should trigger that, because that's how we configured in our pom.xml, right? And let me go and give mvn space test now, and we'll see what happens. It's running. You see that only 4 tests are ran, 2 other tests are missing because we have removed it from TestNG XML file. Okay, this proves that our Maven is now pointing to TestNG XML file only. It's not blindly executing the things present in the folder. Okay, so that XML pointing can be done by giving these details, XML file details. So, the official documentation is very good. You can just go through this link and you can read more about this TestNG stuff. So if you want to tweak your Maven and if you want to add anything, just go to their documentation and understand, because they have clearly documented everything. Like if you want to run suit XML files, what does you need to provide and everything. Okay, so now if I remove this, I removed. So this is default, right? And I'll run this test again. This time my output should be 6, not 4, because as I removed, it should go default and execute all these 3. Let's see. You see that now it is 6. Okay, because that's pointing to default one now. Let's add it back. Alright, so that's the importance, and that's how you can integrate your TestNG XML file. And one last thing, so you removed Appium test right from your TestNG XML file. So what if you want to run only this file? Okay, you don't want to run your TestNG, or you don't want to trigger all this. You just want to run. Your client came and told you that to just run only Appium test Java file, and you have to run all the test cases present inside it just blindly. How do you do that? So for that, if you go back to their official documentation and come to this running a single test. So here is the syntax. You have to pass the test file name. Okay, mvn-d test equals to, and pass that specific Java file name here. So let me copy this and I'll paste it here. Just go through your documentation, and whenever you're stuck or whenever you want to explore and find out new things, just come to this documentation and read each and every topic. You will understand. So I'm just covering the main topics which are really required for test automation. So remaining things you can still explore upon your interest. Okay, so I pasted it here, but our test file is not test circle, right? That's a sample. So if your client asks you to run only one file, let's say, which is Appium test, as we ignored here. So just pass Appium test. Okay, take the syntax from here. You need not remember. You just take this file as your reference and do that. And hit an enter. And now Maven just blindly go and execute this one single test. No matter you provide XML files or do the default one. And you see that only 2 tests ran now, and your output is iOS apps and native app Android. Okay, so in that way you can target only one particular test file by providing the syntax here. Okay, so that's pretty much about TestNG and running a single test and running a default. In the next lecture, let's see one more important topic, that is profiling in Maven. Okay, thank you.